That was recorded too, wasn't it? Don't play that back for Bonnie Wig. How's everybody doing today?
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a couple of hours. Days. So
Don't
what?
say hours, Steve.
No, okay, you're right. Sorry. So, let's get into Paragon and get going here. So do you guys have, I'm just going to close that. I can do, thank you very much.
No problem.
I can do anything
Oh, we want stats.
that you guys want me to do today. I am an open book, so you guys can pick my brain and we can go where you need to go. What? Pardon me?
Stats is what.
Stats. That's what I was put in under?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do stats. Is anybody using stats right now?
Nope.
Who's using stats? Lisa, you're doing? Me? How are you finding them? Complicated? Frustrating?
Like I was listening yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What is it really telling?
Right. Okay.
Some clarity, like on some specific, say, question
Yeah.
to see.
Okay. So why don't we, for the sake of the example, why don't I focus on an area in Bedford and we'll pretend that's what you're trying to work on, and then you can just apply that to any other area of the cities, right? Because I guess the question is why do you do charts? Yeah, but for what reason? I mean, for your knowledge, but also for your clients or prospective clients to give them a heads up as to what's really happening in the marketplace. Because when you go in and do a CMA presentation and they ask you, you know, what's happening in my neighborhood, what's happening in the city, the town, listings, selling, list to sale price ratio, it's good to have all these stats so that when you get asked a question, you have the answers, right? Because the last thing you want to do is say, you know, I'll get that information for you, or I'll send it to you, I'll get back to the office. You want to have all that stuff prepared and ready so that if you're in competition with another agent and they're not prepared, guess who gets the job? The person who has the knowledge and is prepared, right? So there's two ways you can get into the charts that you're probably aware. On the home page here, or the dashboard, I can get to charts here, or I can go to resources and then MLS charts right here. So let me give you an overview of what we're looking at and how to actually use it, because what you see on my screen is not going to be what's on your screen. I have a lot more avenues of auditing because I can audit brokerages and agents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But don't worry about that. Don't let it intimidate you, because the front part, I'm going to come back to that. I'm not going to go through this front page to start, because this is where we go after we go through the charts, save charts, et cetera, right? We can get some other statistics from that home page, but I don't want to go there yet. I want to really focus on a chart, getting a chart, figuring out how to actually use this system. So the first place you're going to go is you're going to go up right up here to the new chart in the top left. And this is going to be a pop-up window, so it's going to pop up on top of the window we just worked on. So from here, we have to decide where are we going to audit the stats for whatever particular area. So there's two ways. So everybody knows that in Paragon you can do two ways to search, right? You can do criteria search, so you can put in all your criteria, or you can go right to the map and just draw an outline, right? Everybody's done that? Same thing, we can do it in MLS charts. I can type in the area. So if I go right here, you see where it says area. If I type in Bedford, I get a drop-down menu, and I can go Bedford, I can go Bedford Hills, West, I can go to district. I can narrow it down to whatever I want within that particular community. So if I know I'm going to do some stats for Clayton Park, I can type in Clayton Park and it'll pull up that information. It'll focus on that particular neighborhood. Now, if I want to draw an area, then you'll notice right here, map. If I click on map, I get a drop down menu and it shows me my map, and now I can start to begin to draw. And I will in just 1 second. To close up the map, you just click map again. So that's how you open it and that's how you close it. So once you get your map and you get your outline, you can just close it. You don't have to have it continually open. So again, like Paragon, there's 2 ways to get an area. Actually type in the area or use the map and outline it. So we'll go to map. I will go to Bedford. And here, excuse me, here's my drawing tools up here. I have a circle or a polygon or a square. So I'll hit the polygon and I'm just very simply going to draw an outline. Now, when you're drawing an outline, you're not going to click and hold your mouse. You're just very simply pointing and clicking and then moving your mouse. Point, click, point, click. And then when you're complete, you click the last button and it will then encapsulate that particular area that you're trying to search, right? Now, I can put more than one area on my map if I want to. I can put up to 3 different areas that I can draw and an outline for. Now, I don't recommend that you do that to start. I recommend that you just start with a single chart, work on it, get good at it, and then we can progress as you get good at the, I don't want to call it the simple stuff, but the beginner stuff, right? So now that I have this outline, let's say that I drew it wrong, I can clear it. I can save this so that I can recall it again if I want to bring this up again. Or I can just add it to my search. So if I click on add, it goes right into the lower section of my search criteria, right? So if I'm using the map or if I'm typing it in, so for example, if I wanted to include Bedford Hills, I can go right to Bedford Hills, draw that outline, and make that part of my synopsis or my criteria as well. But we're only going to start with one area. So I'm going to close up the map. Now from there, what you're going to need to know is that we have filters within the program. So I can filter down what it is specifically that I'm trying to search for on the system. And we do that by going over here to the filters on the right-hand side. And that will bring up my filters. Now, we don't have as many filters as we do in Paragon, simply because we don't need them or require them to get a lot of the details and data that we need from the system. I mean, we can go into Paragon and we can filter and we can find a lot of information, sold stats, and these type of things. But the reason why we're using the MLS charts is because it really makes a really nice looking chart, a really good presentation. So when you're going through the information with your client or prospective client, you can say, you know, here's our listings, here's our solds, here's our days on market, all these type of things. So you can really, you know, educate them and make them knowledgeable about what is actually going on. So I can go to residential, property type, et cetera, age, price range, right down to bedrooms and bathrooms. Now, if you don't pick anything, it's just going to default to whatever is selected. So this one is selected to all. This one's for residential. So obviously, if you're going to do commercial or multi-unit, you will select those options. So make sure that you go down and go through all of your filters before you begin your search, and then you'll just simply click apply. Now, that's the hardest part. Would you agree? No. So now all we have to do is pick a chart, decide what we want, and then create it. So let's see here. I will go new listings graph. Now I can pick as many as I want and submit that information, and it will pull all of those charts individually. What I can also do is I can combine charts, which means the information is going to be overlaid on top of another chart. I do not recommend that because it really starts to look ugly, complicated, and when you're explaining things to people, you really want it to be as simple as possible. If you've got to make 3 or 4 or 5 charts, no problem. Don't overlay it and don't combine it because it really If somebody is really experienced and knows how to read charts, it's fine. But for the most part, don't complicate it. Make it very simple for them to understand. So we're going to say, let's see. I'm going to go down here. Unit sold graph. Has everybody got unit sold graph? Just look on your list, see if you have unit sold graph.
Steve, how did you get there? I missed that
Okay.
part.
Oh, you don't either? Okay. Sold listings, was that it? Should be in there. Sold listings by. Wow. Oh, is it? There it is. Thanks, Lisa. Okay. So again, on my screen, you're going to see more icons than you will have available. But don't worry about that because I can actually go in here and I can edit and modify and those type of things, and you don't really need to do that. So all you have to do from this screen is we need to pick a timeline. We've got to find out how far we need to go back. So we click on the calendar, and it's defaulted to go back 1 year on a monthly basis, year to date. So you can actually pick whatever scenario that you want, or you can click on the calendar at the top and pick your timeline through the calendar as well. So 2 different options. Now, one thing you want to be aware of is that when you're actually creating a chart, don't go back too far, because if you do, I would recommend making multiple charts. Because if you go back 3 years and you want to combine all that information, just imagine how much you got to squeeze onto one page, right? If you've got 3 years on a yearly, quarterly basis, you're going to have a ton of information on that one page. So don't do it. I would do it on a yearly basis. Print a chart for 2017, print a chart for 2016. So that way, again, you're not overlaying, you're not squishing information onto a page, but you're making it very easy to understand and to read. Now, it may sound like a lot of work, but actually it's not a lot of work, because once you actually create the chart, all you have to do is go in and change the timeline, and voila, it's done, right? So there's not a lot of time wasted. Once we create a chart, we'll save it as a template or what we call a packet, and then we just go in, change the timeline, voila, it's done. Less than 30 seconds. And we'll go through that, and I'll show you how to do it. So for this one, we're going to do 1 year on interval of month, year to date. I can click apply, but it's my default, so there's nothing to worry about there. Now, the only other thing I have to do is I have to go here to type. So the other 3 icons, the edit widget, the new feature, and the trash can, don't worry about those. Click on type. And now we've got 4 options. Now, you're not going to have the same, you're not going to have the same 4 options in every single chart, right? It depends on what you're actually trying to audit from the system. But in this one, we've got 4 options: average, count, median, and volume. Now, what the heck does that mean, right? At this point in time, you don't have to worry about it, because once we get into the chart, we can then further manipulate the chart, and we can change it and look to see what each of these categories mean within the chart. So at this point in time, it's not important what you're picking. We just need to get into the chart, and then we can further manipulate it, okay? So what I'm going to pick is I'm actually going to pick the count. And that's all I need, right? So the first thing is I'm going to pick my area by typing in the area or going to the map and outlining the area. And then I'm going to go to my filters, and I'm going to make sure that I have the filter set so that I find and pick the proper filters for my properties. Then I'm going to go down to my chart, select my chart. I will pick the timeline, and then I will pick the specific chart that I want. So this one is a count. Correct. That's right. So if I go to default charts, I'm going to pick columns. You can pick stacked, layered, but I really recommend just picking columns because it's the most easily viewed in a chart. You can pick line, but again, what you're trying to do again is when you do a chart, you're putting it in front of somebody and you're explaining it to them saying, here's what the market is bearing and showing it to them. So don't try to oversimplify something. You don't have to, right? So we click on columns. Now I'm ready to go. Now, if I didn't pick columns, if I left that at chart default, watch what happens. Create new chart. Well, it should have given me an error message. You might not have figured out that I changed it. Let's go back. Clear. New chart. Was it sold listings graph, Lisa? Okay. So if you don't pick the type, it's just going to give you an error message in the top right. It'll say pick your chart default. So I go count. I pick columns. Whoops. Columns. And then create the chart. So now we have our chart, and now we can begin to manipulate it. We can go much further than what we've just done. All we did was we just went in, grabbed some data, grabbed a timeline, grabbed an area, pushed it on the screen. Now, if you look to the top right, or to the right of your screen, does everybody see that edit wheel there? So when you click on that edit function, that will open up the window on the left that is now going to allow us to do further manipulation to the chart. So remember our type? We had count, average, median, and volume, right? So what does that mean? So as Lisa said, the count is the count. It's just going to give you the number and the total. So if I take out the count and I put in average, you're going to see that it's now going to give us average price of the properties, right? So again, if you're printing these off, you can print them off separately, but at least you're making your client aware of what actually they're looking at. If I want the median price, obviously that's, and again, see what happens when you combine charts, when you overlay or combine information, it really becomes ugly and it's very difficult to read and understand. So just be careful of that. So I'm going to take out the average, and now I've got the median price. So now that's just going to be my averages throughout the months. And the last one is the volume. I'll take that one out. And now I see the total volume for all of the properties. Oh, excuse me for a second. I got to just shut that off. There we go. Okay. Everybody with me so far? Anybody feeling a little?
If you're at this stage and you're looking at your chart.
Sorry, Lisa. Yep.
So we're at this stage right now and you're looking at your chart and maybe it's not looking like how you want it.
Right.
Can you from change it to count? What are we at? So
we're at volume.
Change it to a count line graph and change it to pass from the screen.
Yeah, I can.
Show me how to change the timeline.
Yeah, sure can. So right over, let's see if it's under here, page 1, so right here. See the calendar? Click the calendar, and now I can change my timeline. Sorry? Yeah.
Okay. And so change your type.
We need to hear the questions. We can't hear the questions.
Yeah, the line is going to be your default for that one.
I don't think they hear us, Molly.
Oh, it is extending the chart.
Yeah.
So they're not laying over top of each other. So from the other, from square one, you can truly
Correct.
So why is it extending like that?
Because we didn't combine the chart, we didn't layer it. Because on the front, if I go to dashboard, does everybody have? Actually, go back. Let me go back. Whoops. Gotta move this out of my way. Chart. New chart, lot office. Okay, cancel that. Whoops. Where did my chart go? I should have saved that before I got out of there. Sorry. Oh, there it is there. It was already there. Alrighty. So what you're looking for is, see, I'm not sure if we can actually do that. What you're looking for, you got that? Let me see.
So that's why I was wondering why you can't do it from that screen.
Oh, I probably can.
Yeah, so do you see how it just overlays them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty clean looking.
Yeah, that is.
And you can compare last time.
You just see here for a second.
So if you on the,
Yeah, that's going to give, because we
that's
have
the same
another
thing
one
we
here.
did, though, up there. It's extending the chart.
Right.
We had all the settings the same. Let's just check it. So it was 1 year, month. I have.
Mm-hmm. Because we have that layered in there. It must have been combined. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just trying to see how.
Because it's so much easier than charts for this page, right?
That's
because
right.
Then you don't have to go back out, manipulate it, and then.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
page is ideal.
Because all of your edit menus are over here on the left-hand side. Once we create the chart.
Sorry, there's just some questions. They just
Oh.
say
Okay.
no one's answering.
So where's the range of this to? So can I do starting? Okay. So I bet you your time range up here
Yep.
is the 2 years.
Oh, there it is there. Perfect.
So maybe check that. See.
Okay.
Only list one.
There was a question that said, how did you get there?
Because I don't find this chart too. Oh. And then it
Just tell them to unmute themselves when they have a question and ask it aloud.
So if they heard that, just unmute yourself and you can ask the question. We'll get it through the system here.
We were doing that. Can you hear us now?
They don't have.
Or they can just type in your question again, and I'll keep an eye on this. I just kind of minimized it to get it off the screen so that.
Fuck.
Yeah. That'll work for now.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, they don't. And then that should.
Yeah, I think mine, but I see where you're going. It's in here, and see, I've just got too much information here because I've got it all. I just have to clear this out and then do it again. And more. So listings. So did you do that right from your, so you did compare on 2? Create. So there it is there. So perfect. And then I can change that from a line if I want. Line. But again, we can also, let me just move this over here where I can get it out of my way. Okay. So again, everything is we can manipulate anything that we want on our screen. So for example, here we have map, Glenmoire, Bedford, undefined. I can take that out, show the header, because it is rather large. I can take out location, or I can show page title, and then I can click add title here. So I can actually put in exactly what it is that I'm wanting to add to the system, instead of the system telling me what it's going to default and what it's going to add. The other thing that you want to use is on the left-hand side. See where it says use branding? So the branding is important because when you're actually printing off the chart, that's going to publish your photo, name, number, brokerage, all that type of information. So just make sure that you're using that as well. Now, when you're using this program, it's very important that if you run into a problem, that there's a very fast way to get answers and problem solved. This is a third-party plugin program that we get from a company out of Idaho. And they understand that some of the things that they actually use within the software may have some glitches. So what you're going to do is you will send them a query or a question, or saying, you know, this isn't working, this isn't calculating. And it's very simple. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see this feedback button. And when you click on feedback, you don't necessarily have to highlight anything. I mean, you can if there's something on your screen that you want to make note of. But all you have to do is in the bottom right-hand corner is you're going to put in your email address, and then you're going to type in the problem that you're actually experiencing with the chart, or it might be a query, right? So if you call me and I'm not available, or I'm training or away, you can always get your answer right here, because they have a tech team available. There's no phone number to call because this is their dedicated support. They will get back to you very quickly. So any problems or errors that you're experiencing, that's how you're going to begin the process. And usually I get copied on them as well, so that when you submit a question or a query and something's wrong, I'll get copied on it so that I will be aware of it as well. Now, how can we actually share this information? So we have a number of different ways to actually put this in the hands of our client or prospective client. Does everybody have that download button here on the right-hand side of the chart? Right, so you can download it as a graphic, PNG, JPEG, etc., or PDF. You can save it as a CSV file or other Excel spreadsheet type files, right? Maybe somebody you know loves spreadsheets. Some people don't like charts, believe it or not. They love numbers. They love to see things in number format. And in that case, you just save it as a CSV file, and it converts it to Excel, and it produces all of the numbers for you. You can annotate this as well. So if you actually want to make note of something, highlight it or write in there, you just click on annotate, and then you can just very simply scribble or draw or whatever you want to do on the actual chart. Once you've done that, you don't want it, just go down here, cancel it, takes it back off the screen. I can also print this. It's going to print in PDF format. But the key to all this is right at the very bottom. And this is where you should actually go. So we have print PDF here, so it will convert it to a PDF format file. You'll be able to print it. The next one is share. And when you click on share, you're going to have two options, live and static. Now, it doesn't matter which one you choose, because whatever you click, left or right, it's going to give you the exact same option at the bottom, just so that you know that. So here's the first one, social media and email. So when you click on that, you are going to have the option to take this link and do whatever you want with it. Now, why would you want to have the access? What's that? Yeah, that one, not so much as the other one in Cloud CMA. Okay. But I'll tell you why this is important, and we'll go through the scenario in just a moment. And that is, let's say that you're dealing with somebody who is not ready to jump into the market. They say, you know, show me what the market is doing, and when I think and feel the time is right, then I'll jump in. So here's what you do. And instead of saying, well, when do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you in a month or two, or, you know, how should we leave it? Here's what I recommend. I would say to the client, Okay, you're not ready yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to feed you some information. I'm going to go into our statistics and I'm going to produce a chart. I'm going to send it to you, once a week. Does that sound pretty good? And they'll go, yeah, that's pretty good. So we're going to go in and we're going to set up a subscription and we're going to send them that chart, and every week it's going to update and it's going to give them the new numbers for the week that's just gone by. So now instead of you having to remind yourself, I got to contact them, I got to follow up, what's going on, you're just going to slowly feed them information so that you're going to be able to stay in touch with them. So that when they see and feel the time is right, they jump on board, they give you a call and say, hey, that information you sent me, perfect, thanks very much. I'm ready to list the property, let's go. So that's what I recommend. Instead of just leaving it and walking out the door going, gosh, I should have just found a way to give them something or stay in touch with them, that's how you're going to do it. You will set up a subscription and feed them that information for as long as you need to. Now, how do we do that? But let me just backtrack for 1 second here. Does anybody have personal websites? Facebook? Right? Does everybody have a personal Facebook page and a realtor Facebook page? Perfect. So here's what I recommend you do. You can actually create a chart, take that chart and publish it to Facebook or your personal website so that anybody who's actually surfing those two areas will see live data based on whatever it is that you want them to know and understand, right? So I've got a question for everybody because I want you to be knowledgeable and understand really the marketplace. So does everybody know how many agents there are in all of Nova Scotia?
Too many.
Anybody else want to guess? Yeah, we're just above. We're in between 14 to 1,500. So how many agents are in Metro? Halifax, Dartmouth, surrounding areas. How many are in Metro? 900. 900 people in Metro. Now, how many listings? This is a very important number. How many listings have been put into Paragon since January the 1st of this year? When I say listings, I mean every class, residential, commercial, land, for the entire province since January 1. How many listings have been put into Paragon? 11,000? Are you cheating? Where'd you get that number?
I told you I was playing with that recording.
Yeah, see? Lisa knows. I'm impressed. If I had gold stars, I'd give you 2. Yeah, but you know how you find out how many listings were put into the system? You go to Paragon, you go to your market monitor, and you click on new. And when new comes up, you'll click on your MLS number to put them in alpha or numerical order and scroll to the bottom. And that shows us 11,148.
And that's because vacant land, you have different.
Yeah, you must have it filtered, right?
Well, no, but when you go search, you have to choose residential, commercial.
No, but you see, what I'm doing is that I've got my filters, or I don't have any filters on my system.
Well, I can't change this. This is just how it comes.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is that the highest number MLS number you have, that is how many listings have been put into the system. Now, 11,000 listings and 1,500 agents. Are you getting your share? That's the question. That's a lot of listings in the first 4 months of the year, right? So that's what you need to do, is learn how to really understand these charts, be knowledgeable so that when you go into a client's home and you have an interview or you're looking to get new clients or customers, to be able to explain this system, right? Now, does anybody know the days on market, the average days on market for properties this year? Well, Nova Scotia. What's that?
Like a second.
Yeah, because when you include like rural properties and vacant land and all that stuff, those properties have been online for over a year, right? But even if you go into Metro Halifax, Dartmouth and do residential days on market, you'd be surprised how many listings are selling in less than 2 weeks. Like seriously, like they get listed and they're sold in 2, 3 days, that fast. Now, here's the number I want you to digest. If I go back to my market monitor, right, I can go back 30 days on my market monitor. So I'm going to put in 30 days, and without you doing the same thing and refreshing and getting ahead of me and telling me what the number is, I want you to tell me how many new listings we have gotten in the last 30 days. But more importantly, I want you to tell me how many sold and conditional sales we have for that same amount of time. How many do you think are going to be there? Pick a number and stick it in your head and watch this. In the province, since 30 days back, 1,033 listings. Now, just let me check my filter here just to be sure that I'm not filtering just Halifax. I am.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that seems like.
That's what I'm filtering. I think the same.
Save. Refresh. Okay, entire province, 2,430 listings, all of Nova Scotia. Now, the important number here, sold, conditional sale. Add those up, and what do you get? 2023. And look at how many new listings, 2,430. We are moving properties pretty quickly.
It's a lot better with HD on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. But again, like I'm trying to help you so that when you actually go in and do a presentation and somebody says, so, you know, how long is it going to take to sell my home realistically? And you can say, well, based on the stats, and if your home is priced right, we can move it pretty quick. What's that?
If you allow me to price it.
Yeah, but here, follow me through. That's the key. Like if you go into a presentation and you do a CMA and you say your home is worth, based on my calculations, your home is worth $325,000, and they go, well, that's very interesting, Mr. or Mrs. Realtor. My home is worth $360,000, and that's what I want. Okay, so you got a choice. Do you say, well, you know, I'm not going to list it because it's going to be days on market, will be months, and it's going to screw up my stats, and really I don't want it because I've got all kinds of other listings? Or do you decide, no, I'm going to take the listing and then I'm going to convince them to get the price down within a week or two, right? So here's the scenario. You have a choice. If you take that listing, you have to now figure out a way to get the price down. You're not going to do it by giving them your personal opinion, because if you do that, you're going to wind up having a fight, right? You're going to argue. So that's why we have the MLS charts, because the MLS charts are going to allow you to go in and audit an entire neighborhood, subdivision, district, subdistrict, and say, here is the market. Here's what the market will bear. These are hard facts. So based on this information, I can tell you this is what's going to happen to your house if we overprice it. If we don't have any actions or calls in the first week, overpriced. We have to get the price down immediately. So are you willing to leave your house on the market for 6 months to a year? And if they say, no way, I want it sold as soon as you can get it sold, well, then the market says we have to be priced here. So you want to swallow the pill, or do you want me to walk out the door? What do we want to do here? You just got to give it to them straight, right? Because you are the realtor. They aren't the realtor. Does everybody know what Dr. Google is? Because I told you, didn't I, Shelley?
Like, say,
Here's what Dr. Google is. So I got this pain, right? Not feeling good. So I go on the internet, go to WebMD, and I type in my symptoms. And lo and behold, 15 minutes later, I find out I got this condition, and the only way to cure it is I got to go to the doctor and get a prescription. Once I take that for 3 weeks, I'm clean, I'm good, I'm happy, right? So I make an appointment and go see my doctor. I sit down and say, hey, doc, I know what's wrong with me. Here's a prescription I need. Why waste time? Just fill it out. Let's go, right? He's like, who are you? And he says, I can't give you anything until I assess the situation and do my own evaluation, right? And that's the same way with real estate. People go on the internet, they surf these websites, and they think they've got it. They think they've got it, right? And then you go into their home and they tell you everything about real estate, the price, and why and how. And you're like, Dr. Google, I challenge your analogy here, right? So again, that's what we're up against. So when you go in to do a presentation, you have to razzle dazzle with these charts and with the information to show them. This is why I'm telling you the information, not because I've surfed websites and I've calculated, because I've gone to our database and I've calculated based on our hard facts, right? Now, getting back to setting up a subscription. So let's say that your client's not ready, and you say to them, yeah, I'm going to start feeding you information. I'm going to make you aware, keep you up to date. And from that, we'll decide when we should get on the market, right? So we go down here, we click on save, and we're going to go subscription, daily, weekly. I wouldn't do monthly, it's too long. Daily or weekly. Pick the time and the date, and then subscription type. I would always pick shared link and not a PDF, because the PDF is just captured information. Sharing the link is actually the live data. It'll take them to a website. A PDF is a file. Either they're going to see it online or they're going to have to download it, and that takes time. If they don't have a PDF reader, then all of a sudden now they got to get the software, and it's just time consuming. Send the link, they click on it, they go right to the page with the chart. And then the last thing is you're going to send to, I'm not sure if add to contacts is LinkedIn, but if you click on add new contact, you just put in the email address and their name. And always make sure that up here under the enter name, that you put their name and the area that you're auditing on the system. Because when you do that, when you go back into your subscriptions, you'll be able to recognize their particular subscription depending upon how many that you have set up, right? So once we get our subscription all set up, we go to our dashboard and our main page, and we go to the bottom, and here are the subscriptions. So all your subscriptions are going to be added in here, and you'll be able to keep an eye on them and be able to edit them or delete them accordingly whenever information warrants itself, right? But again, what you need to do is you need to go in there, you just need to start practicing. You need to go in there, create some charts, set yourself up for a subscription, practice manipulating them, sending the link, all these types of things, and get to understand and get to use these very quickly. Because the other thing you can do is that if you don't want to send the subscription to the actual client, you want to have a look at it first, it doesn't CC you, right? So what you're going to have to do is set yourself up for that chart, get it emailed to you, look at it, forward it to your client. That way you get it. Because the last thing you want to have happen is you don't want the client to call you up and say, hey, this email you just sent me, what does it mean? And you're like, well, can you send it to me? What, send it to you? I thought you had it. Well, no, I don't, right? So get yourself set up for the subscription or copy, carbon copy in certain areas of the charts. Get the chart, be knowledgeable, and that way when you get a call or people want more information, you're well aware of the process. Lisa.
Okay. Can I get you to follow the chart?
Yep.
And tell me what it's telling you.
You want me to do it? Follow you up here or?
So, a new chart.
Yep.
And you're going to go to over days on market graph.
Yep.
Right. Count. And line graph.
Yep.
Calendar.
You figured it out?
Right? So when it gives me the numbers, graph is saying 2 and 3, and I'm oh, average days on market, or even a count on 2 days, because I have months, so not days. So you have market select days.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of very finicky. Like you have to like.
Yeah, you got to understand the concept of what you're actually doing it in the software to pull that data or information from the system,
Right.
right?
And
But again, I know that we're going over this quickly, and don't let it overwhelm you or frustrate you or not use them. I really encourage you to, get in, start to practice. There's videos here too, right? There's not a lot, but whenever you see,
sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
same issue.
What happened?
So let's go in and
Okay, days on market, type, line, count, timeline. What did you pick for timeline? Okay.
here.
Okay.
Live.
What area?
It doesn't. Well, yeah, just okay. I used a strict
15D is in David.
still. It doesn't say.
Hmm.
It's not the same.
Yeah, these are all my sold. Just let me close this out because I want to clear this out of here and then go back in fresh.
So it's saying it's on black 17 sold.
Yep. So let's go. Let me try. I'm just going to do this because I just want to see how far back we need to go here. Yeah, that really complicated things, didn't it? So there might be a system glitch in there somewhere, and I'll have to query them at MLS charts to find out why it's not calculating properly. Let's actually send that now. All right, we'll send that off to them and see what we get.
You're saving like sold list, act list. Like, you want to save it. Remember you said save it. All you just change.
That's right.
Details.
Yep.
How do you save it to a packet again?
Okay. So let me just go over that again. So again, if you create a chart, and you do all the work, you format it, you get all the information, once you save it as a packet, you've pretty much saved it as a template. They call it a packet. And what that means is that once you've got the packet, all you have to do is if you want to make any changes or manipulate that chart, you just very simply go back into that template and you can change the area just by typing in the area or by typing in your timeline. So again, once you go in, you get 3 or 4 different charts and you've calculated the information. I'll show you. We'll just do it here. So this one, for example, well, I won't use that one because it's not a good chart. Cancel that one, clear that one.
You at the top, it says save chart. So we have
Yep.
like some by default there. Must just be.
Yeah, you will have save packets, right? Save live, save static. So if I click on this, you'll see I have, like for example, this one, Bedford 2017. That was the chart that I created, right? So if I click here, here's the chart that I just created, right? Now, if I take out this district, I can then type in 20A. Okay? Click on that, load the packet, and voila, it just created that whole chart for that area. So I didn't have to go through and pick my chart, pick my timeline, blah, 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 blah. I just save it as a packet, go in, change the area, recreates the whole chart for me. Easy, said and done. Now, can anybody go in there and check? You're supposed to have the option to actually go in there and audit your own statistics.
Where was that?
It should be right on the front page, right in the packets. I don't know what it's called. It might say agent ranking for NSAR.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. If you click on that, that will give all of your stats depending on how far you want to go. And again, that's something else you're going to use when you go in and do a presentation because, you know, they're going to ask you what sort of business have you done? What sort of sales have you done? These type of things. So, I mean, if you've been in the business for a while and you have a good track record, you could go in there, audit your business, and use that for part of your presentation as well. Mm-hmm. Because as we go through, and again, because the MLS charts is kind of it's not new, we've had it for more than a year, but they keep adding to it. They keep adding different charts for you to be able to go in and audit and use for your own use for yourself or for any of your clients. And again, if you have any suggestions, if you want a certain chart and you don't see it, then you know, very simply make that request because either it's there and we need to enable it, or they may just need to actually create that chart for us so we can use it.
When the agent ranking,
Yep.
so on that, I don't know what the columns number LS for office.
Do you mind if I put in your? I don't know if it's going to come up with anything. Oh, yeah, I can't. I don't think I can get individual because every time I do it, it gives me the entire company. So what are you getting on yours?
So, like, what is this column? Number sign MLS 662. What does that mean?
Well, let's try here. Column
Well,
visibility.
that'll take them away, so you could take it away so it doesn't show you.
MLS numbers. MLS 662 for 48 officer.
Like, this is pretty. 8 listed units, 11 sold units, listing volume, selling volume. That's pretty straightforward. Total units, total volume,
Mm-hmm.
percentage within office.
Mm-hmm. But are these numbers correct for your stats?
Yep.
this and this, I don't know what that means. And that.
So there are multiple Keller Williams offices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what firm
There's
represents.
only one here.
No, but there are multiple offices. One in the Valley? That's part of the same network? Yeah, so firm and office, this is your individual office, and this is the combined offices. That's what that means.
Or what does the number 48 mean? And how would I get that? Like if I have questions on what the data or column on the chart means,
Mm-hmm.
who is it that answers that?
Yeah.
So they can actually go in and find out how it's written.
Yeah, so what I would do here is I would take this, I go feedback, and I would take this and I would grab all that and then put in your question here.
Okay.
What does this mean?
All right, I'll do that.
So does that look like it's something you might use? Now that you're more familiar with it? Yeah, if you send me an email, I'll send you just a recap. I did a 1-hour webinar on this, on the MLS charts. So if you want to send me an email and just in the subject put MLS charts, I'll email you the link to the webinar. So my email is skillorn at nsar.ns.ca. So it goes through all of this from start to finish, setting up, sorry? Oh, skillorn at nsar.ns.ca. And just put MLS charts in the title, and I'll email you the link tomorrow. Oh, how do you send it?
Yeah, like how do I make sure it goes in the message with them? Do they see that screenshot?
Yeah, I would do this. I wouldn't worry about up here. Control. Well, it doesn't work the same as.
Yeah, it's a Mac.
Ah, crap. How do you copy that?
Right click or double click.
Oh. Yeah, I'd actually put it in there.
And then, so can they see this?
Yeah.
That page?
Mm-hmm.
Because you highlighted it?
Correct. Yeah, it's going to screen capture that and send it to them so
and
that
how
they
did you
can
do the screen capture on that?
As soon as you click on that help,
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
See, I have crosshairs. So I just click it,
excellent.
drag it.
Perfect. That's a good feature.
Any questions? But like I said, it takes a little time. Just do some practice charts. Go in there, manipulate them. It's like anything else. You can't break it or ruin it or delete anything, right? Just go in and practice it so that you and send the charts to yourself. Set yourself up as for a subscription. And I really promote these because when you go in and you talk to people, especially for yourself, because when you're knowledgeable about the market, and let's say you go to a presentation or a party or a picnic or something like that, and you're talking to somebody, and they know that you're a real estate agent, they could be secretly interviewing you by asking you certain questions about the marketplace, the sales, the listing, and all that sort of stuff. And you want to be knowledgeable about that, right? Because, I mean, if you were talking to a lawyer and you had a question, you probably get an answer. And that's the same way with real estate. You need to be prepared and understand that you're the professional. And if you don't have the answers, somebody's not likely to pick you as their realtor if they need to list and sell their home, right? So that's what I really promote. Get in, even if you're not using the charts for your customers, do it for your own sake so that you are understanding and more aware of the marketplace. Because like I showed you, you think to yourself, oh my God, my business is so slow. What's going on here? And then you see there's 11,000 new listings since January the 1st. You got to say, well, somebody's making some money out there and it's not me. So what do I got to do to make this happen? Right? You got to get out there and start generating some new clients with the tools that we have in the Cloud CMA for lead generation and those type of things that really work and really help people out. because that's what you need. You need to get more people. You have to find more contacts. Yeah. Yeah, you
All
sure.
right. So when we go into 12-month history comparison,
Yep.
and let's just say we're going to find out for all of Scotia. So NSAR's in there.
Okay.
Load that back.
Yep. Oh, what did you pick for a timeline?
Well, I just also last year,
Okay.
12-month history. So load that back. It says 30-year summary, 17 to April 2018.
Right.
When you're here and it says houses between 250 and 350 are up 746% in the sold count.
Yep.
As compared to what? What are they comparing that? We're up 746.
From the previous year.
Is it? It's only going. This is just 1 year up here.
It's from 217 to 218.
Okay, 2018 to April 2018.
Yeah, so
Just that kind of detail. When you're out there talking about it, that's a really good
whoops.
number to talk about in the health of the market. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
But I just want to know what they're comparing it to.
Okay, just wait. I just clicked on the link there. I'm going to just see where this takes me. Yeah, you're welcome. Woo, I got a lot more than I wanted. Do you have that ability, Lisa, to click on the link? Like,
I'm just waiting to load now.
because when I clicked on it, it just gave me all kinds of information. It's not leading you anywhere? You're welcome. You're welcome.
Maybe it is. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's going May 2017 to December 2017.
Yeah, that's
the
probably
first part of
possibly it.
When I click on that, it just brings me to it. Good. Thanks. So if we go back out, say, change. So maybe
You could try that.
Still want. Okay. January. And it'll only give us, it'll only allow us to go to deal. I tried to do for January to December. Year to compare is going to be year to date only, meaning January to May, right?
Yep. April won't include May. Only completes, compares full months.
January to December. Okay, so now it's 16.
Yeah, because it is showing 2016, 2017 there, so it would have to be the year previous. So if you click on that, what gives you the...
So this looks different than that 700.
Can you do a feedback
right?
there and highlight it and say where should the hyperlink take you?
he even gonna, I should actually chart.
And just describe what it is that you're clicking on there.
Sorry, Steve, I'm gonna press.
No worries.
Thanks, I sent you an email.
Perfect. I'll send it off to you tomorrow.
No problem, thanks.
Okay.
I sent it from another email. Edward's my design. Don't throw it.
Oh, from you?
Me.
It won't throw me.
Oh, it won't.
I'll pick
Okay.
myself off the ground and.
So what are you doing tomorrow at the association?
Oh, are you?
Is it that again? Mine's not set up to do anything. That's my problem. It's still all mine's doing when I went up to MLS charts. I was just watching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Do you have the home page? Oh, let me just click.
Under stats and something or other. Like I thought it was anyways. But if I go.
Let me actually